Hello and welcome everybody to Have a Chat. We are so thankful to you all each week for tuning in to our show. It's been a while for Veronique and I to be on the show as hosts. We do turnabout each week, as you know by now. And of course, with COVID, Audrey cannot be. But again, for the viewers that are missing her, she will be back joining us in the station once we go live again. In the meantime, welcome to you all. And how are you today, Veronique?
Great. It's hard to believe the winter's going and here we are. I don't know where the weeks are going, Judy. They're just flying by.
It's March now. It's March 1st.
Yeah.
Yay! Let's
I
celebrate.
know.
Kick
Hard
up
to
our
believe,
heels
eh?
because no, it's great because we were saying how much we dread winter, and I totally dread winter, but now we can say we're on the home stretch that's soon ahead. There'll be longer days and brighter days, and we've got, like I'd say, we'll maybe have a few more storms. We could have, but basically, I can't wait for that fresh air and the snow to go, and it's definitely a season of renewal. I absolutely love spring.
Oh, you know what? I agree with you. Spring is truly my time of year, spring and fall, actually. I love the beautiful weather and it's a little crisp, which is, right where I'm most comfortable. And I love the possibilities, I guess, that spring bring. It just
Right.
feels like the world is full of possibility and joy. And Easter is my favorite holiday of the year. So
Oh.
yeah, no, I prefer it like above Christmas or Thanksgiving. It really is for whatever reason, that Easter weekend, it is just, I love it. It feels like renewal to me.
Well, it is the season of renewal, and I don't have a favorite season. Isn't that weird? I
Mhm.
have a favorite season, which is summer, but I don't have a favorite occasion. I
Okay.
I don't have one that I prefer over the other. I guess I
Mm.
enjoy them all. But you have our quote for today, Veronique. What do you have for
Mm.
us this week?
So it is by the most wonderful Charlie Pride. He's such a gifted performer, and I love what he says in this quote because it really speaks to the kind of person he was, but how we can all be as well. So from Charlie Pride, he says, "Performing is an experience. For me, that is as humbling as it is energizing."
Mm, that just sounds like the man that I've read about, heard about, that he's the most humble in the moment kind of guy. And it's not about the sensation that comes from stardom or applause. It comes from actually giving what he's been gifted to give to the public. And they receive him so well because he just apparently was the most beautiful gentleman through and through. And I miss the fact that he's gone from this world. He truly was somebody my family grew up listening to. And of course, he was the first black man country superstar ever.
Yeah, and I think, for me, when I think about, I mean, I've only ever been in one play, but I do also, as you know, and you do too, I MC a significant number of events, typically a year. And so I always have that, and he put it into words. I couldn't explain it before, but you get up there
Mm.
and it's so humbling to see everybody out there, waiting for you to perform or sing or whatever it is, or MC, or, but I also, just like he said, I get that energy, as the crowd gets excited, or they love the performance, or they're looking forward to whatever it is that you're talking about, and you feed off that energy. So he actually put it into words for me, and I of course don't have his gifts, but I have gotten a little taste of that over the years.
I'm really glad you brought that quote to the show today because I know a lot of people that personally have loved him for as long as that he's been performing as a country artist. And he's even been in Miramichi. Susan Butler had him here. She's done so much for our area. She's hosted him here. He, sold out crowds, I think once, if not twice, if, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But that was quite a thing to have him in Miramichi. He's such a legend. And bless his
Absolutely.
heart, he passed away in December of 2020 at age 86 years old. He was married when he was just 20 years old, and he and his wife lived over 6 decades as husband and wife. And he died of complications due to COVID. That COVID that's taken so many lives is just so sad. And he was an elderly gentleman, but again, he Did you recall many of his songs? Because I'm a lot older than you, Veronique, but I remember The Crystal Chandelier, Kiss an Angel, Good Morning, and probably your favorite song of all time would be When the Snakes Crawl at Night.
Oh, Judy, I thought you loved me.
Did you ever hear that song?
No, and I never ever want to. You love to
Yeah,
torture me so.
I do. But moving right along, now that we're on the theme of entertainment, we don't often venture into the celebrity talk because everybody kind of gets soaked in all that through media on television or magazines. But I think it's time that we just played around with the topics for a little bit. And the fact that Kim Kardashian, who I have to admit, totally, I've never seen a full episode of the Kardashian reality show. I don't even know what it's called. What's it called? Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Is that what it's called?
Keeping
Yeah,
up with the Kardashians.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I've never really seen an episode. I know people that absolutely love following that. It's finished after 14, is it 14 years they've been doing that show? Something like that.
Yeah,
14.
yeah.
And
It's
and
hard
they
to imagine.
no, it is hard to imagine that they kept it going that long. And anyway, to my point that she is now getting a divorce. They've been married 6.5 years. She and Kanye West, who is a hip hop sensation. He is a fashion mogul as well. And they're calling it splits of 4 children later under the age of 7. So, it's the fact, I guess, that people put these entertainers up on a pedestal, they revere them, and yet they don't often realize that there are so many underlying pressures, problems, interpersonal dynamics, and they judge people very quickly. I think their divorce is largely based on the fact, not all of it, of course, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, but a lot of it's because of his diagnosis being bipolar. And it's put such a twist on their marriage because of his behavior, which has been, we've seen it happen, and we thought, well, what's going on? What's going on? People were laughing or making fun of, and little did we know, I didn't know that Kanye West experienced mental illness. Did you for a long time?
No, and it was, I think it was probably most evident in his initial campaign rally that he held when he decided that he was going to run for president. And he it was a struggle to watch because you could tell that something was going on. You could tell that he was distraught. You could tell that he was struggling with something at that point. And so I can't imagine what it would be like to be a loved one of his and watching this all unfold in public, right? It's one thing as we all deal with our own mental wellness journeys and those of our family members, but to watch it unfold that publicly had to be gut wrenching for her and for their children. I mean, to some degree they're young, as you said. So I hope that he's able to get some help in living with bipolar disorder. And I'm sad that their marriage is now coming to an end. They've got 4 kids. But she's done some amazing things in the last little bit, and I know a lot of people kind of drag on her because she made a fortune out of her face. But you know what, she was smart enough to make the fortune, right?
I agree.
And
Yeah.
she's and now she's pursuing a law degree, and she wants to follow in her father's footsteps, who was a famous lawyer back in the day, and then he passed away. But I think we think we know them because we see them on TV, and I like you have never watched a full episode. But I think they're quite brilliant women in that family because they have managed to build this empire and make the most of you know whatever their assets were.
I totally agree with you on that, Veronique. People are quick to judge and put down, and whatever she does or whatever is going on between them, they've made, like you said, I love it. They've made an empire out of just being themselves, and I think it's really ironic because now she's a super famous, a celebrity, but she was I think first on TV on a little show the one that Paris Hilton did, and she was actually the one that was on there helping her clean out her closet. So has she ever come a long way from those days? And from being a little sort of an in behind the scenes girl to being on top of the world as far as a media sensation goes. But like you said, there's the cosmetics line, there's the clothing line, there's so much that she's built and built and built on. And I think once you see that she's no longer engaged in a reality show, which was a lot of probably craziness going on in the background, and now that she's going to be an independent woman, a mother, yes, a very busy mom, but I think her mother played a large part in her life of being her mom manager. They call them mom managers, where they're in their face controlling everything. And they say that he controlled a lot of what she did too. So it will be interesting to see down the road what she does, as you said, with her talents, with her God given inside of her brain talents and not just her body, because that's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. And I do, my heart goes out to people that are in marriages where there is that suffering going on. And she was the first one to say, please do not bash my husband. Be easy on him, be compassionate. He's going through a very, very hard time, especially with COVID. His mental illness has risen. He lost his mother, and she's feeling very, very bad with the situation. So I just, I don't, I'll never get to meet them. I've seen her once from a distance, but life goes on. But on the same note as to cosmetics and cosmetic stuff happening, have you seen Demi Moore since she did a runway Fendi fashion show in January? Have you seen the new Demi Moore?
Yeah, and I guess shocking is probably the first word that comes to mind. I've always found that Demi Moore is such a stunningly beautiful woman. She's aged, with grace from everything that I could see. And of course we put so much, emphasis on that. But um and I know she's gone through a lot in the last couple of years and things like that. But when she was in the fashion show not that long ago, I like probably most people was shocked at the um we'll call it work, I guess, that she had done to her face. I like she was almost not recognizable to me.
That's exactly what my point was. And I don't know if she had work done and then they sort of up the game for her look with makeup that can sort of carve cheekbones, extra accentuations, etc. But Demi Moore, I agree. She, in my opinion, is one of the best actresses ever to come out of Hollywood, and also I think one of the most beautiful women that I've ever seen. That's my personal opinion. And I
Hmm.
think that she's had a very hard life. She's a God-given talent. She was in so many movies. She's rawly gifted, but she had a lot of struggles with substance abuse. She had a lot of
Hmm.
issues with alcoholism. She had relapses. She's had, let's just say it. It's not all glamorous being out there. As we see the pretty stuff. We see what she puts out in movies, which I fell in love with them all. Every one that she was in, she was outstanding. But the glamour that people perceive these people as living is just not all that. Her struggles have been huge. And when you don't have that personal self worth, you start doing things to yourself, as in trying to mask your pain with substance abuse. In her case, it was alcoholism. She was married to Ashton Kutcher. He was so much younger. I think maybe because she didn't feel that she was beautiful like we all see her as, she tried to make herself forever young. And she always said that she really thought anti-aging was so important, and how could she possibly attain that? And you can't attain that forever and ever. Things are going to drop. Your skin's going to drop. Your hips
Yeah.
are going to sag. You're going to age, right? But I do
Hmm.
believe that it's the value that she put on herself that has made her go so extreme. And it kind of breaks my heart that, as you said, she has become unrecognizable. It was
Hmm.
startling. And to me, she ruined her whole image. And I want to shake her. And I wish I could have sat her down and say, look, do you realize how amazing you are just the way you are? But we can't often
Hmm.
get through to people. If they don't feel it themselves, there's no way, without a lot of hard work, that we're going to convince them that they're that great inside or out.
Hmm. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And another beautiful woman that I've always she's just been so striking to me my whole life is Courtney Cox, and she went through that
Oh,
phase where and she talks about it openly, where she had a lot of filler injected, and
Mhm.
it changed her look, and so she's had that dissolve now, and she said that she didn't want to go back to that look. And listen, filler or Botox is entirely someone's personal preference, and more power to you if that's what you want to do. I don't have any issue with that, but I just think that sometimes, we get so wrapped up in that chase for, that keeping young looking, and that need to feel like we're not aging, or that we're aging gracefully, especially as women, that we kind
Mhm.
of tend to go overboard. And I've had that conversation a lot lately, because I feel like part of what's happened, for me with the pandemic is, I'm really not taking a great care of myself, in the fact that I'm not, sleeping as much as I should be. And we talk all the time about the fact
Mhm.
that you and I don't sleep.
No, I
But
don't.
I'm also not, I'm not eating well, and I'm not getting out and getting as much exercise. So I feel like I am starting to age. And so, that's something I want to fix, but I know that I need to fix it in other ways. And first off is getting off the couch, but that's okay too.
Very unique. No, but we're all kind of in that mode. And I just want to encourage, I don't know about our viewership as far as the exact age group that watches this show. We get everything from older men to middle aged women to young
Yep.
women that I talk to that watch it. And if I could say just one thing to anybody out there, the women or men for that matter, that are taking any of our advice tips today, just learn to love who you are, because it does not matter exactly what you look like. It's character that builds that person that someone else is going to fall in love with, that wants to be around you. They're not around you for what you look like, and if they are, they shouldn't be around you at all. It's what you bring to that table. It's your inner personality, your words of advice, your kind acts, and all of the above. So if you could just grow old gracefully, I love to see people like Diane Keaton and so many actresses and gentlemen that have not done anything to themselves but look more glorious as time passes. And I've embraced myself getting older. I certainly find I've aged a lot more in the last year. And again, I think it's just like you said, not enough outdoor fun, not enough exercise, not enough looking after myself as far as my on the move eating healthier, because I'm just kind of, you get kind of in a funk. But
Yep.
anyhow, we have a couple of really lovely guests ahead of us. And I know you're not going to want to go too far, because one is a little girl and the other one is a former Miramichi lady that's now living away, and she's coming to us virtually. So grab yourself something, come back and join Veronique and I for more Have a Chat. But we look forward to seeing you very soon. Hello and welcome back. If you're just joining us, we have been chatting away, Veronique and I. And again, I'm Judy Losier, of course. My co host today is Veronique Arsenault. We take turns, and we have a beautiful young girl here. I think she's one of the youngest guests we've ever had on, maybe one other child that was a bit younger, and maybe two older boys. And so, welcome to our show, Edie Duplessie. Hello.
Hi. Hi, thanks for having me.
It's It's a thrill having you. And I know you're not a nervous child, because you're known as a kid performer. Aside from going to school, you entertain and do all kinds of fun stuff out there in the community. So, Edie, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, about your siblings, your pets, all kinds of stuff that you can share with us about who you are.
Well, I have two siblings, one older brother and one younger sister. I have
Mhm.
7 fish, 2 snails, 2 dogs, 1 cat, 4 chickens, and yeah, and 1 gecko.
So that's quite a house full you have, and two parents that I know quite well. And so that's a house full for sure. Veronique, isn't it something to have Edie come on? She's only 7 years old.
Yes.
I'm just amazed. I'm amazed by you. I'm amazed that you have time for all those pets. My goodness, you have 7 fish. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So Edie, tell us what grade you're in and what you like about school.
I'm in grade 2 and I like doing math and gym class and music class and stuff like that.
Oh boy, math. That's awesome. You know what? When I was your age, I did love math too. I kind of decided to go a different direction later on, but math was probably my favorite when I was about your age.
Edie, you love to perform, right? So when you were just
Yeah.
a little toddler, you were probably entertaining your mom and dad and grandparents and family. What kinds of things do you like to do to entertain people?
I like dancing.
Oh, any
Oh.
kind of dancing? Any special kind of dance you like to do?
Mm, I take musical theaters and hip hop.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. So you've got quite a
Wow.
bit under your belt for only being in grade 2. You like to do all kinds of activities, and I'm sure, like Veronique said, at school, well, you do all that math stuff and work, but there's also a lot of playtime. And so it must
Yeah.
be really different with the COVID. With COVID, tell us about how that's going in grade 2 with the pandemic and how the school day goes and how far you have to sit apart and all of that stuff that happens.
Well, it's been a little bit hard, but I think I'm getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to
What's
wear your
up? Yeah.
mask all day?
Um, not at lunchtime.
Oh,
No.
okay, that's good.
I think you're
Do you get to see your friends?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's good. Hmm.
now you have a brother and sister. Would you ever fight with your brother and sister?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, so you're the typical little 7-year-old, right? But what's
Yeah.
not so typical about you? What's really extra special, even though you're special in every way, what's really extra special about you is that you're not shy to get up in front of a lot of people and entertain them. And actually, somebody sent me a tape last year of you performing. And I couldn't believe it. I thought, this is only a little girl. You're only 6 at that time. So, are you going to perform a monologue that you performed for your school? And was it for school or was it for a festival that you did this for?
I was doing it for the music festival at my school.
Okay.
Oh.
And it was called I Saw My Teacher last Saturday?
I saw my
I
teacher
saw
on
my
Saturday.
teacher. I saw my teacher on Saturday. Well, it kind of blew me away. So Veronique and I are just sitting here. We want our popcorn out for you to do this because I know it's fabulous and the viewers are going to be entertained. So take a deep breath and just pretend you're on the stage, even though you're on TV, and do what you do best, Edie. Let's have it.
I saw my teacher on Saturday. I can't believe it's true. I saw her buying groceries like normal people do. She reached for bed and turned around, and then she caught my eye. She gave a smile and said hello. I thought that I would die. Oh, hello, Miss Appleton. I mumbled like a fool. I guess I thought the teacher type spent all their time at school. To make the situation worse, my mom was at my side. So many rows of jars and cans, so little room to hide. Oh, please, I thought, don't tell my mom what I did yesterday. I closed my eyes and held my breath and hoped she'd go away. Some people think it's fine to let our teachers walk about, but when it comes to Saturdays, they shouldn't let them out.
That was awesome.
No, teachers should never be allowed out on Saturdays or Sundays.
No.
That is so good. Right, Vero? Like very, and her memory and her everything. She hasn't done that in a year.
Edie, how long did it take you to learn that?
Like a week or two.
A week or
Wow.
two. And did you practice and practice and practice? How did you learn it? Because you know what? I'm not very good at learning lines, so I want to learn from you.
Well, I did it like 2 times a day or something.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Do you
I
get
can do
nervous
that.
when you perform in front of people? Like, do you get nervous at like a little bit excited or a lot nervous? Or is it just that energy that you need that we all do before we get on the stage? What do you feel like just before you go on and they say, here's Edie?
I get a little nervous, but when I'm on, then I can see that like it's not bad.
Right
Yeah.
on. You're a
Yeah.
confident little girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you have the music festival is still, it won't be the same as always, will it? Or is it changed up from last year with the COVID? Are you still having the same type of assembly this year?
I think we're gonna film it.
Oh,
Oh,
cool. It'll be
that's a
done
really good
virtually.
idea.
And yeah, it's a super idea. And so what are you preparing for this upcoming music festival, Edie?
I'm gonna be doing a poem called "Sick."
Sick?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, and I know you can't really talk about it much on the air, but it's going to be a surprise. Is it for the whole school?
Yeah.
Okay. Veronique, I think she's got quite a bit going on for her age, don't you?
oh my goodness, so much more than I did when I was her age. This is amazing. Edie, so you said that you take hip hop. Who's your dance teacher?
Yes. Rin?
Erin, Miss Erin?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's an awesome teacher.
Mm. What type of like Veronique and I are a little bit older than you, a few years older than you, and so
A little bit.
we probably don't listen to quite the same music as you do. I mean, we're probably not even close to being what you listen to. What are some of your favorite? Who are some of your favorite singers or performers? Who do you love to listen to?
I have this one song that I like a lot. I think it's called "Small Boat in the Ocean." Oh, Fight Song.
The
Oh,
fight
Fight
song?
Song. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. But
That's
do
a
you like
great
all
one.
those other people like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber and all those superstars? Do you like any of those?
Yeah. I like Taylor Swift a little bit.
A
Mhm.
little bit. A
Yeah.
little bit. But you're only 7, right? So there'll be so many more stars coming out that are close to your age pretty soon. I think you're going to be one of them.
When Edie, I have a question for you. So, when did you know that really wanted to be in the music festival and be on stage? What did you say to your mom and dad to get them to agree to let you go?
Well, I think I just had a moment that I felt it, and ever since I was little, I just loved acting. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm. And you're
Awesome.
saying since she was little and she's still 7, so that's remarkable. I love acting, and Veronique's done some acting. It's such a fun experience. What do you love most about acting? Is it actually people in the audience that they're embracing for your performance and you're getting that excitement from their reaction to you? Or do you actually just like the fact that you are actually the entertainer and performer? What gives you the most fun? You or the audience? Is it a combination?
Well, I just like entertaining people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And are you funny too? Are you funny? Can you tell jokes and things like that?
Yeah.
I'm not very good at telling jokes, Edie, so you're already doing much better than me.
So, Edie, you're in grade 2 right now. And we all think about, at that age, oh, we're going to be graduating 1 year. And some people decide to go out and just work, in the city they live in, take a job somewhere close by, or they decide to go and do a trade, or they decide to go to university, or whatever that is their choice. But what do you think? Have you ever thought about what you'd like to do when you get older and graduate from high school?
Maybe a performer.
Mm-hmm.
Like an actress or dancer or both?
Kind of like an artist, like a performer, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
She could teach us some things, Veronique. She could teach us a few things, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I know that already for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. So do you think that you'd like to take some lessons maybe when you get older and learn how to do this for a job?
Maybe.
Maybe, eh? Yeah. Um, Edie, can you tell me the name of your best friend?
I have one neighbor named Millie, and I also have another friend named Molly, and Ivy,
Yeah.
and Scotty,
Oh boy.
and
Okay.
Lisa.
So we'll say a big we'll say a big hi to all of them today.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
what's your teacher's name? What's your homeroom teacher's name?
Um, Miss Dunn right now.
Okay. So we'll say a big
Okay.
hi to Miss Dunn too.
Yeah, they'll be also happy to see you on TV. So I just want you to tell the viewers a little bit about how you would help another child that would like to perform but is nervous to perform. What are some tips that you might have for another boy or girl your age about getting out there on the stage and being comfortable? What could you do to help them?
Well, sometimes you just need to think that they're not there and just imagine that you're doing a good thing and like making people entertained and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you practice on your mother and father and your siblings? Like, do you perform for them or your friends the most?
I usually perform for my family sometimes.
hmm
And so, Edie, when your friends see this on television, do you think they'll be surprised that you're like on a Have a Chat show that goes all across the province and on YouTube International? Do you think this is the beginning of stardom for you?
Maybe.
We're soon going to find out. But your little sister is how old?
4,
And your brother is how old?
9.
Okay, so you're the middle child.
Yeah.
And so obviously you are. And so then you need time by yourself to perform and you sometimes want to just be alone to practice all of that. Do they get in your way sometimes?
No, not really.
So you get along pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say that we cannot wait to see and hear more about you, because I think that if you start doing things at a very young age, like you are now, and you have the support of your family and your friends, and your heart's into giving your best and performing to people out there, and you know that you're confident enough to do it, I think you're kind of reaching for the stars and you're going to get there, don't you?
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be to get there? Just a lot of hard work, or what do you think to be a superstar is the most important thing?
Well, you got to put hard work in it, and also you need to think that you're doing it for the good.
And you certainly would be doing it for the good. And we cannot wait to see more of Edie Duplessie. She's a grade 2 student at Kingsfield Elementary in Miramichi, New Brunswick. And I do believe this is just the beginning of the beginning. I think we're going to hear tell of her, and maybe your name will be up in stars someday and a big neon sign, right?
Yeah.
So Veronique and I wish you so much luck going forward, Edie, and we loved your performance, and we can't wait to hear about music festivals. So thank you for being our guest. And we don't want anybody to go away. Just take a quick little break, because we're coming right back with another performing, entertaining personality. And so just join us very soon from now. And thanks, everybody, and come back. Hello, and welcome back to our final segment of Have a Chat. I'm your host for today's show. If you're just joining us, Judy Losier, joined by my beautiful, vivacious co-host, Veronique Arsenault. And we just finished talking to Edie Duplessie, a 7-year-old kid performer. And now we have another beautiful lady from the Miramichi, formerly via Toronto. And so she's joining us virtually. Welcome to Patty Virgil Pedersen, who is a art worker slash entertainer. Hello, Patty.
Hi, Judy. Hi, Veronique. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be here. Yes, so I live in Toronto, been here for the last, I can't believe it, 19 years. I don't know
Oh,
where the time
wow.
went, but yeah, it's been since 2002, just moved in the spring,
Hmm.
so almost 19 years. But of course, born and raised in Miramichi. And yeah,
Yeah.
born and raised, grew up there. My family's still there. My parents, of course, still reside there, Riverside Drive, right up from where you are, Judy.
Yeah,
And
I
and
know.
yeah, and my sister Pamela, who lives in Moncton, and I have a brother Dave who lives out west in Calgary. So we're all separated by 3 different provinces right now. Well, in general, but especially with everything going on right now, we're quite separated.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And of course we Judy lives not too far from your parents, and you know, I mean, it's such a wonderful small community here. It is a city, but we're all kind of interconnected, and Judy and I and everybody else here has watched in wonderful anticipation of your career as you know, pursued your dreams there in Toronto. But talk to us a little bit about when you were young, and you know, what drew you into becoming a performer, and why, you know, were you not afraid?
Oh, no, I had a lot of fears, but you know what was interesting is I as far back as I can remember, I mean, I listened to my parents' ABBA records in the basement. I used to sit there, listen for hours to the ABBA records, and then I put little dance routines to the ABBA records, and then I would proceed to put plays on. And my earliest recollection was when I was 6, and I performed The Wizard of Oz and played all the characters, of course. And
Oh
they
my.
were, but my parents, yeah, I that was a story. I remember it vaguely, but my mom would say, yes, you'd get us to come downstairs and watch you, and you would go from Dorothy to the Scarecrow to the Wicked Witch of the West, and that they said that's when they knew, oh, she's got something going on here musically and theatrically. I think I think this is her thing, and it really always has been, you know, through elementary school. I mean, whenever there was like those school talent shows, I always, you know, submitted to go in and sing. And it's interesting because that's when I really came out of my shell, to be honest. Grade 6 is a very vivid memory for me. I remember performing ABBA, I Have a Dream. And it was my first audience, my first official audience I sang in front of. And it really, it really did so much for my confidence, you know, and I was always, I'm very outgoing and very extroverted. However, really it's when I'm on stage that I feel the most at home. So I've always wanted to be in front of the camera, whether it's performing or whatnot. I just sort of light up, and it's a wonderful and happy experience. So then in junior high, same thing. I was in the drama program, did the drama festivals, was in the, you know, sang a song every time there was a talent show. I just couldn't wait to be on stage, whether it's in front of 2 people or 200. It just was my joy, you know.
Yeah.
And same thing in high school. High school, same thing. Did the drama fest and all the shows and you know, oh, just amazing. Yeah.
Wonderful.
It is amazing. And yeah, I've always watched you. My mom taught you, actually. She actually adored you. I believe she taught you in
Grade
grade
8.
6, perhaps.
Grade
Grade
She
8?
actually grade 8. She got me in junior high, and Dr. Losier, she taught me grade 8 English, and she was my favorite. And I'm not just saying that. She just
Yeah.
was so, she was just so generous and encouraging with her teaching. And she just, oh, I just loved her. Yeah. It was wonderful.
And she loved you, Patty. She loved you, and she saw in you what you saw in yourself, the potential. So, I mean, you've been in Characters
Yeah.
Incorporated, a local-based dance troupe here, and then tell us
Yes.
about your journey from leaving Miramichi and your passion and dream to fulfill your future in theater arts when you moved to Toronto.
Yes.
What happened after you moved there?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I was going to say, speaking of with Characters Incorporated, the song and dance troupe, that it was actually, if you don't mind me backtracking a bit, in grade 11, um, they came to our school and performed at James M. Hill. And I remember after they finished, and my jaw was dropped, and I told mom and dad, that's what I want to do. That is what I want to do. I need to be on that stage. And I remember dad told me, he said, you know, I remember you telling me that, going, oh, sure, Patty. Okay. Yeah, sure. Like, he was always supportive, but he didn't think you know, you had to audition to be in characters. So when I graduated high school, I went to university to be in characters. That's the inside joke of the family. I didn't go to university. I went to university to be in characters because you had to live in Fredericton.
Right.
So I did that for 4 years. 21 hours of rehearsing a week, and then we'd do 200 shows in a summer. So long story short, when I finished that 4 years with the group, I knew I was graduating university. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to, I need to continue this. How, and that is when I auditioned to get in school in New York City. And that's where I went to performing arts school. And I
Oh,
went to
wow.
New York from there. Yeah. So I went
Oh,
to,
so it was New York
yeah,
first. New York,
New
not
York first.
Toronto.
And then cruise
Oh,
ships. And then I did cruise ships and then Toronto. Yeah, it's quite a journey, Judy. So I'd studied for 2
yes.
years in New York. And imagine moving from New Brunswick to Manhattan. I mean, your brain just goes, what? It took some time to desensitize myself to everything, but I learned so much more as a person. Just, you get it back, you develop a backbone real quick. So basically studied there, but I knew I wanted to travel. I had the travel bug. And so I auditioned for cruise ships. And so I did cruise ships for a couple years. And then September 11th happened, and I was in England on the ship during that. And then the ship went bankrupt. So we were out of jobs, hence the move to Toronto. So,
Right,
yeah,
right. What a
yeah,
journey. Wow.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Because I had planned, and of course I met my husband on the cruise ship as well. He was working as a broadcast manager. So our plan was
Oh,
to continue the ships for a while, save some money and so on, and then
mhm.
plant our roots. But that got cut short after
Yeah.
September 11th, unfortunately. And so we moved to where the work was. That we love, we just had to go where the work was for us. And so Toronto was it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
there you
In
go.
2002. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so we
Farah.
moved to Toronto. Yep.
That you know what? I'm astounded by the bravery that you had to do all of that and to pursue all that. I think that's just I think it's incredible. I'm getting goosebumps because I'm just like, oh my goodness, what adventures you've had and wonderful outcomes. I mean, you met your husband, which is great, but you also found, the ability to pursue your passion
Oh,
and find that, venue to perform in. So, oh my goodness, I'm just in awe. I think that's wonderful. And congratulations on that.
thank Thank you so much.
Mm.
Thank you. Well, honestly, I have the most supportive parents in the world and family and friends that were just right with me along the way. So thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about the Bettys. Tell us all about. I've seen parts
Yeah.
of those performances, and of course I've gotten to see the videos. But talk to us about the Bettys and how that all came to be, and who they are really.
Sure. And so I've been with the Betty's band for about 10 years now. And the Betty's name itself kind of came from Betty Boop. We're sort of an Andrews Sisters, Boopini Sisters type of vibe. So we take
Mhm.
some cover songs, and then we take some of them and give them a jazzy twist, But so 10 years ago, a good friend of mine, Lisette, called me up. And we did an ABBA tribute band a few years prior. We were in an ABBA tribute band together, shocking. And so she said, Patty, I'm putting this band together. I want 3 girls, 3-part harmony, followed, back up with a lovely band consisting of a bass, guitar, piano, drums. And I just, I thought it would be really great to put this together. And so we spent a year performing in jazz bars in Toronto. And after about a year in building our rep of music, people were saying you guys should be doing corporate events and parties,
Mm.
and because we're a small, band, but you said you got the atmosphere. You should be hired to do those kind of things. So we put a website together, and then we, most things were word of mouth, of course. So we started getting one gig, and then we got another gig based from the last gig, and it's a word of mouth domino effect. So we started doing a lot of shows around the city. We did For the Love of Chocolate Gala in Chicago. So the name alone
Mm.
got me. I was like, anything with chocolate, I'm in. But
Mm-hmm.
so we
Yeah.
so we performed all over, and of course we did a mini East Coast tour a few years back, which was wonderful. Because we are used to doing the very smaller venues where the intimate spaces. So, but it's been an absolute thrill. I mean, I've been with them 10 years now, and I think it's due to the fact that we're very tight knit group. We all have jobs as well. You have to keep the jobs going. I've been working at the National Ballet for 15 years. Hence the name arts worker slash entertainer. That's what I do when we're not doing gigs, because I love the arts and I love ballet. So I've been very fortunate to do that. But the Betties has been such a rewarding experience. Yeah. And I really miss performing with them right now.
Of course you do, Patty. I've been on the receiving end. I've been in the audience, just so intrigued by your ability, your beautiful performance, and not only your ability to perform and engage the audience, but your incredible voice. You have it all, baby. And like I said, I've been emceeing. No, it's the truth. I've emceed events where you were the guest performer, whether it be a foundation gala. And I've also been an MC at James Mill Memorial High School when the Betties were brought in as a fundraiser. I've watched you grow up. So to see you so happy and just being in your element and being so happy, you're just one of those positive personalities that I enjoy personally being around. And it must be very hard for you during COVID I know you have an amazing husband. You love to cook, you love to sing at home, and you have your work to keep you busy. But how has the COVID affected you in particular with your getting together with the girls and COVID at the Betty group?
Oh, it's been a really tough year, for everybody all around. It has been hard to just because we can't get together, in Toronto, especially with our numbers so high, we'll be the last to open up. Do you know what I mean? It's all the live entertainment all over the city. All the theaters are shut down. I know you guys pretty much know this. It's everywhere, really, all over. There's really it's been tough because we can't go see each other. So we speak to each other through FaceTime and Zoom. We did recently put together we haven't released it yet, but we put together a Zoom video of one of our songs that I'll let you know when that happens. But each of us had to individually record on our own. So I would record my harmony, send it off to Lisette because she's the wizard editor. She's the jack of all trades. She's amazing. And then she did her part, and then Kalia recorded her part, and then all the band members recorded their parts. Lisette puts it together, and then but basically that's really all we've had to cancel. A lot of all of our events have been postponed. Obviously, one little thing I do remember this: we performed New Year's Eve entering 2020. So we were performing all the way up to midnight. We toasted in the new year, and it's interesting. I remember this conversation. We were talking backstage and going, 2020, it's gonna be something, right? And who knew that 2020 a few months later would be like, hold my beer just a second, it's gonna be something, let me tell you. So we just thought, oh, this is gonna be our year, and it's like, oh gosh. Anyway, so that was one of our last performances because of course everything shut down in March. But anyway, but we're we do have a gig lined up in June, but that's literally depending on what the restrictions here. So we may have to postpone that already anyway. So, but we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there.
Well, it's funny you were mentioning, toasting on New Year's Eve and everything. I think we all had that feeling like it's woohoo, it's 2020. It's it just seemed like one of those, years. And I look back now and I can't believe I've been, working from home for a year now. And and Judy and I, of course, volunteer so much here in the community, which is wonderful. But we haven't really done any of that, and all of my conversations have changed with my friends and family. It's like, so how are you doing? Is everything, is it a good week? Is it a bad week?
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, where are we going Friday night? It's like, so did you get out of your sweatpants this week?
Yeah, but you're right there, Nick. It is you run out of things to talk about, and yeah. So, but my family and I, we keep in contact pretty daily on text by texting. So we have a family group text. So we keep each other posted with that. And I have a beautiful little niece out west who I miss so much, and nephews out east. And so at least we have that to communicate. Thank goodness for technology. It's all I got to say is thank goodness for social media and technology and being able to connect that way. Because I don't know. Yeah.
Just to give the viewers that don't live in Miramichi, New Brunswick, where we're taping and where Veronique and I live and where you're formerly from, give us just a little comparison as to what the pros and cons are of city life versus little old Miramichi with just a few, 1,000 people.
I really miss, I'm living in the city right downtown, and, there's just, yeah, it's there's nothing like a small community. Everyone knows each other and everyone has their back, and it's such a warm community and a sense of camaraderie, and it's just like there's just something so special, about Miramichi. And I talk about Miramichi to my friends all the time when I'm here. You can take the girl out of the Miramichi, but you can't take the Miramichi out of the girl.
Oh,
Irish Fest was all, I talk endlessly about Irish festivals. So I always come home for that. I always look forward to coming home for that. And I'm very tight with my high school graduation class. We're very close, a lot of us still. So anyways, there's just something so beautiful about coming from a small area that just has such a lovely connection to each other. And it's really, especially when I talk to my friends here and I still have the slang or that comes out. It's,
Mhm.
here and there. So it's
Mhm.
really endearing.
yeah.
I hope that answered your question.
It did,
Absolutely.
Patty. It did, Patty. And like I said, I'm a city. How can I say this? I'm a small town girl, live in the big city life because when I go to the city, I come alive. And I could easily
Yeah.
be a gypsy. I said that to Veronique and the viewers many times. I could live out of a suitcase. Some people are
Yeah.
homebodies and I'm just not. And so there is a sweetness of being home, sweet home, and the connection you just described. There's nothing quite like family and close knit, but I
Yeah.
can see where your personality fits the limelight, where
Absolutely.
you're
Yes.
in your element. You're in your element where there are so many places to entertain and restaurants and shopping and all of that, because that's
Yes.
just who I see you as, and I've always seen you as that person
Yeah.
growing up.
And
We've
yes.
just been,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
You're
we're
absolutely
just
right.
incredibly,
You're absolutely right.
yeah, we're thankful that you were able to be on our Have a Chat program via Toronto virtually, because you're just one of those people that when you're gone, we miss your presence, Patty. And I really think, and don't you hope that when you come home, we're almost out of time and our show is going to end for this week. But do you have any final words about when you do get to Miramichi in the last minute of our show? What's going to take place when you get home?
I'm gonna give my parents the biggest hug and cry probably for an hour. Um, I'm gonna give them the
Oh,
biggest hug. I cannot wait to see them again, but that's pretty much, I just can't wait to get home and see them and, see my friends, go to, just just to be home, it's
yeah,
really going to be special. I miss that contact. We all miss that contact, that, to give a hug,
Mhm.
and just embrace your family. So it's really just seeing the family and just, yeah, that's pretty much what it
yeah.
is. Yeah.
We hope that you get home sooner than later, that COVID all dies down. Thank you so much for being our beautiful guest, Patty. I love you. And anyone from Miramichi that knows you loves you. So, to all our viewers for tuning in today, it's been our pleasure.